Hey guys, welcome. And I'm going to introduce you guys again in just a moment, but I figured I would just get on here and say hi while I sit here and show you guys a little bit of how I'm prepping my planner for April. I did print all of my pages up and I cut them, and they're not perfect, but I am punching them to fit in my classic happy planner, and then we're going to get started. Hey guys, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. My name's Mandy, and today we are setting my planner up for April. So you got a little glimpse of me just kind of getting these inserts ready. So if you have been with me a while and have seen my recent but previous planner setups, you know that I have a little bit of a system changed for this year so far, and I'm really liking it so far. There are some pros and cons, so I might go over some of those with you guys, but for right now we're gonna just kind of get into the video. We're setting up for April, kind of reevaluating you know, what my planner's like. It's pretty full right now, so I got to kind of like clean it up a little bit, but let's go ahead and do a little flip through and see what we have going on. So I still have the previous month, and I actually like reprinted up quite a few, not quite a few. I reprinted because I am wanting to put this in the shop eventually. I've kind of like kept the first version of that I used because I did write a lot in that first version, and then I wanted a blank one for me to have just to see what it really looks like. I had a couple other cover options, so and just kind of like, I don't know, I didn't want to have to rewrite everything just yet. I was really going off. A lot of these are like my beginning of the year goal pages and stuff, although they're not all filled in. I like to fill those in as I go throughout the year and not just always right away. So that's what this one is. It's just the previous, month of February, January and February, like thoughts. And then for March, I ended up completely printing the planner over again. So that's what this is. It's the beginning of that one. So it's all blank. But it's just this year with this planner that I'm creating, I'm spending a lot of time on it because I want to see if this is really something that I could see myself continuing to use, and I want it to support me and my goals and my priorities and stuff like that. So, and then there's other things, like I just updated some of this because I didn't like the way some of it, just the way it wasn't meshing to me. So I kind of did a few little updates and stuff. So I'm doing that as I go. But that's what this planner is. I had March here. So as you can see, a lot of notations on March. I did actually make a few notes for myself because you guys are seeing me set up my planners, but you're also seeing me set up for honestly, like getting these planners out to you guys too, just making sure that everything is the way that I wanted it. So because I didn't use this monthly page the way I wanted to, I made some changes, and I actually wrote the changes down on here, and you'll get to kind of see that right here. Actually, I took off the headers, even though I may like it to be like to call or research or to purchase. I actually had changed it to prayers, and I'm going to do like, it's just open-ended. Like you can put what you want there. I actually am going to try this month with some goals here on this page instead of having to have it on the monthly, which was this one. But I really did like it on the monthly, so I'll kind of show you a little bit of a difference for that as well. And I went ahead and kept morning and evening routine because I think that's really important to go over at least once a month, your morning and evening routine, especially after some changes in the season. Maybe that was a month where a lot of things changed, like a season for you. And March kind of was that for us actually, because the time changed and we started some sporting things in the evening and so forth. So I apologize if you guys hear my kids in the background. They are lovingly playing and letting mommy get some filming done today. But okay, so as you can see, like we've made a little bit of a change here to the planner, but also for my planning. I thought I was going to love having a currently for the month, but I actually am going to try this goals portion out, having 4 instead of 8. But also I'm keeping currentlies in my weekly reviews, because it was so hard for me to get everything on the currently here for just 1 month. You know, we might be reading a lot more than, 1 or 2 books. So I am keeping it for my weeklies though. Okay, so that's the monthly. Here is a typical weekly overview. This was week 1. I would like to get to where maybe I decorate this a little more or color code it a little bit more. Or I'm kind of like having random ideas right now where like maybe I change the paper color for each week, which I probably need to write that down somewhere because I'm probably going to forget. Change paper color each week. So the monthly, actually, this monthly overview has actually been helpful for me in making notes on what I want to do for planner updates and stuff. So as you can see, like some of my monthly updates, being that I create these things, may be a little different to yours, but you can have these however you want them once this planner is available. And I appreciate those of you who are very interested in this planner and just being patient with me on that. I cannot wait to get it out to you guys. I just really need it to be the right way. It's just important to me on this one because I really want this to be an annual planner for you guys and not just like an insert here and there. Although it will be very much like an insert, it won't, I want to be able to provide it all for you guys at once. But I love this weekly. I really, really love this weekly. There's really nothing that I thought about changing, not having like the headers for the meals. But then I just realized, if I change that, I would find myself trying to focus on something else when I really do need to focus on planning out my eating habits. So this has been a really, really nice weekly and page for me. Then we have the dailies, and I am making changes to that. So instead of doing a daily, a whole page daily, so when I can fill this out, and I love having the space. However, I just felt like a page for every day was a little bit too much for me. So what I'm going to try is having, and the other thing I should mention too is that I was writing down everything I was eating and how I was feeling and stuff like that. So I was inputting, if you guys were with me in my last monthly setup, I inputted, I put in all these note pages, which I'm glad I had them right here. I ran out of them a week early actually, but I will probably still put some note pages, but this time I ended up going ahead and just printing my own. So after the weekly page, we'll have our weekly here. And then after that, we will have a note page and a two daily with 2 days on it. A page, how do we say that? A page with 2 days on it. And the reason I wanted to do this is because, especially towards the end of the month, I was starting to get burnt out, like writing down everything for the day, like my daily check-ins and stuff. And I felt like my planner was getting a little too full for myself. These tabs really helped to, like I have my monthly tab here. I would move my yellow one to the current weekly that I was using. And then I had this other one for the current daily I was using. And that's very helpful. But that's kind of why I'm thinking like maybe color coding some pages for, each week. But then also, it just was getting to be I felt like it wasn't necessary to have a whole page for one day. Now, it's nice when you have a lot going on and you're actually like writing in the planner the whole time, big to-do lists and stuff. But I keep my to-do lists on my weekly pages as well as my monthly pages here and on here. So it was just kind of like, I really don't need, too much to do space. So I basically have 2 days worth here. I didn't need to rewrite, everything I'm doing daily, and I can if I want to, but I'm not. And if I also want to, I can do it over here, which is where I'm keeping track of what I eat and how I feel anyway. So I figured this page can just be dedicated to that. A lot of times my daily would have things that had to do with my wellness. So it's almost like I need this note page as my wellness for now. There might be some changes to that, but that's what I'm going to try for the month. I'm going to try 2 days on one page, and hopefully that will save me some space with not having to print as many pages on paper, and then also just not feeling that pressure to have to, like, you know, write in all my stuff every single day. And then I also really wanted to be able to use... Is it still filming? Okay, I had an alarm go off just now on my phone. I also really wanted to be able to use my weekly as I intended for it, which is, you know, using the daily habit tracker, tracking, you know, or referring to what I plan to eat that day, and my list making and goals. So I'm hoping that each week, and I'm going to set this up with you in just a second, but each week I will only have a few pages to flip through, and then it gets back to the next week. So that's the plan. Writing down everything has been really nice. I wish I didn't need a whole page for it, but I'm just accepting that I do. And it's been so helpful. Oh, and I'm liking journaling in the mornings in my Bible and prayer time. However, I'm kind of not sure if I want to journal in here or in a different book. So I was thinking about journaling in here. I also bring this to church with me, and I will usually use up a page for church. So as you can see, I'm writing in it, you guys. I'm really using this planner. I'm really being intentional and diligent with tracking things. There's some church notes here. And I'm really just working on continuing, like, I really want to do a weekly reflection, but maybe I didn't really get to do that much of one. But as you can see, like, this is the weekly reflection at the end of the week, and I'm really loving that. So there was just a lot going on in 1 week. So I'm going to try to narrow that down a little bit. I don't want there to be only a 2-page weekly. I want, you know, more room for daily space, but I don't want a whole page for a daily. So here we are. Let me try to get to the end here. Okay, and then I am going to keep my monthly check-ins. Okay, so for now, just for the sake of setting this up, but also keeping the month that I'm currently in, I'm going to go ahead and set April up after this tab. So let's go ahead and, I mean, you guys have seen the gist of most of it, but let's get these popped in here and take a look after that. So because I cut my own inserts and cut and punch my own inserts, they're not always lined up the best. This is also why I don't know, maybe you guys can give me ideas. Whoever would benefit from having me actually print the planner for you from my shop and mail it out. I just have not been able to think about the logistics of how I would, like, print. I know how I'd print it, but cut it and be, like, very precise for your, you know, for you guys. I don't mind it being off a little bit, but I can't imagine, like, selling things that are not like almost perfect for you guys. So anyway, that's kind of like a challenge. If you guys were wondering, why doesn't she print up her own and, like, mail them, you know, make them hard copy purchasable? So okay, so I'm really excited to be able to decorate this. I'm not going to do that in this video, but I would love to decorate these pages. So again, we're probably, let's see, maybe I'll just planner to-dos. It probably won't always be planner to-dos, but that's what it's going to be this month, since I've been working on that quite a bit. And then I really want this one to be prayers, like added prayers for the month. I really want to keep track of what are some bigger things that I'm praying about that month. I will fill in my goals or focuses and priorities here, my top 4. and I will take some time to fill in my morning routine and evening routine. Something that's a little bit different this time as well is I actually have 2 monthlies. There's my kids again. The last month, oh my goodness. I mean, I know they're playing. Okay, another thing with the kids, but hey, we're back here. And yes, so I was talking about the monthly. So I really enjoyed having the monthly. I did think about how I could possibly like make more list areas. Like, oh, can I make this smaller so I can have another list over here? But I didn't want to make anything any smaller. And this has honestly just been a lot more tracking for me. I kind of go through here and I, update this every couple days. But this tracker that I added has been really cool. I haven't completed any books, but I do love that this is there and I can, color it in when I need to, or just having it there is nice. But my goals were nice here, but I thought, you know what, maybe what I could do is, I also wanted to be putting more of my like Etsy and YouTube things on a monthly. So it's a lot easier for me to keep monthlies than it is for me to keep the planners. Like, when I'm done with a month, I kind of need to get rid of paper. I can't hold on to all of this. So I figured if I could have monthlies that could keep track for me on many things. So I love this overview. I love the tracking that I've been doing. I love that it has goals. So for this current month, the change that I made, since I also want to be doing some list making for Etsy and YouTube and just homeschool, like lots of different things that comes to mind that I write down in my weekly, and then I realize I'm not going to keep it. What I did is kind of kept that in mind when I made some updates for the monthly, because I figured if this gets put out there for being sold as well, like people probably like the option to keep your monthlies more than like your weeklies and dailies, if you need to keep things. So I made a couple options for myself, and I like monthlies and tracking on monthlies so much that I figured I was going to go ahead and make 2 for myself. So I kept this one the same with the goals. So it's exact same as the one for March. But then this one I made a little bit differently because I put some an option to track goals here. I took it off of this one, and now I have some areas for list making. So I could make list making, over here for wellness, which is kind of what I was doing a lot of in my daily tracking anyway. And then down here, I could focus on like my Etsy and YouTube things that are going on. Or if instead of like this being prayers and this planner to-dos, like I could do that over here, and then these can be for other things. So, and then I also just made this blank in case I want to decorate it more or be writing more notes down. So, and I can also make them focus specifically, like this could be personal, home, family, wellness, and this could be, well, maybe this one would be personal, home, family, and wellness, and then this one would be more of like anything else. So that's kind of, and that's the beauty of being able to like purchase planners like from my Etsy shop, or purchase, planners that you can print. You can print however many that you want. Like, so I'm like, why not print 2 monthlies? That's what I'm going to do. And then the difference that something I wanted to change too was my weekly came right after my monthly, my first week anyway. And in case I didn't want to keep weeklies for long term, and then also maybe have the idea of, if I needed to make any other lists that could not fit on a monthly, I went ahead and did a lined page because I can totally take notes on line pages. And then I specifically, I have a 2-page weekly, so the next page is lined, and then I have my weekly overview. So that way, if I need to get rid of anything after the monthlies, but keep monthlies for myself, because monthlies are kind of like journals for me as well, and I look back and see what I was up to, then I can get, toss any weeklies and dailies that are not necessary and not feel bad about it. So as you can see, we have the 2 monthlies. We have our monthly overview. I have 2 monthlies this time, tracking a few different ways. Plenty of note pages. So here's a weekly page or weekly overview with meal plan and movements and goals. I just love this. So, and then I go into dailies. So technically, when the month starts, I will have a bookmark here. I'm sorry, the kids are here. I will have a bookmark for my week that I'm in, so here. And whatever day I'm on, I will have a bookmark there, or a marker tab. So now, if you're kind of like, okay, well, what did she do before? So remember before I was doing dailies with, let's see here. I had a daily and a note page. So here we go. So this daily and this side of the note page, that was for my whole day. Like this was a day spread. And then I turned it over, and then this was my, eating all the food, how I felt, and my daily here. So another daily. So I basically used the 2 sides of a note page for what I was eating and stuff. And I'm actually really glad about that, because I can take these out and put them together and have a journal tracker log of all that I ate and how I felt. So the only thing that's really changing now is instead of having 1 daily on 1 page, I'm going to have 2 dailies. And then the lists might pertain to that day, or like maybe this one for that day and this one for that day. Or it's just going to be overall, because a lot of times I would make a list, I wouldn't get to everything, and then I'd have to go back and look at the previous day, which is fine. But again, it was just excessive writing when I didn't need that. So at least I have like a 2-page, like I have 2 days with this layout here. And then I'm just going to split it up, my eating here. I'm going to split it in 2 days. Many days, I would have a lot of space anyway. It was nice to just write it down, but I would have a lot of space anyway. So I'm okay with just splitting it up and writing down, Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. So that's going to save me some paper, some space. Yeah. And then I'll turn it over and it'll be Wednesday, Thursday here. And then I will turn it over and it'll be Friday, Saturday. And I am not tracking on Sunday. The only thing I may track on a Sunday is this. So I'll have a page for it. In my previous month, and obviously these are still geared toward it, but at the end of every week, instead of having a daily for Saturday and a daily for Sunday, I was already using this layout for Saturday and Sunday anyway. And many times, I looked back, many times I did not do much on a Sunday, and I'm okay with that. I would maybe track some things, but maybe, like how I was feeling and stuff, but I did not track our schedule or anything like that. And frankly, I was fine with it. I didn't want to. I wanted a day off. So I am totally fine with, it's a 7-day week. And if you have 2 to a page, it only counts for 6 days. I could have made another one for Sunday and just made like a bunch of notes and stuff, but I wasn't going to do that. So I basically have Monday through Saturday and another page. And then I have a week reflection. So this is usually what I work on anyways on a Sunday. So that's what I'm going to try for my weekly. So technically my week it's throwing me off not having my tabs there. Technically my week is this 2-page layout. And then I have 2 days worth, 2 days worth, 2 days worth, and then my weekly reflection. And then just because I don't want things, like I didn't want my weekly right after the weekly reflection. I guess it would have been okay. So if space is an issue, I can do this for next month. I could maybe not have these here, but I went ahead and just put a couple more note pages. It was honestly so much easier to print this way and not have to make sure like these were back to back all the time. But I'm probably going to use these for journaling or note taking on anything that I, you know, think of that month or do that week. So, and then it continues. So weekly overview, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, weekly reflection. And I think I have 4 weeks worth in here. Let's see. I lost count. That's either 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, and then what I'm going to probably do is, I had some extras from last month over here. So at the end of the month, I always want to end with this page, this monthly check-in page. I do want a tracker to be part of my planner that I end up selling, but I don't actually need this tracker for, at least not for right now, for my monthlies. But if I put that in there, I'd probably end up maybe double-siding these pages, because I really just need to put that right in there. And yeah, I do still need to fill this out for March, but I'm kind of doing this to show you guys how the month ends with a monthly check-in, and usually a tracker. Now this tracker is for like purchases and stuff, or I mean anything anyone wants to track, obviously, but my thought was for purchases or to-dos or something like that. So another kind of like monthly style thing, maybe a brain dump for the next month. But since it's connected to my note page, well, I could still move it over. But this was my notes from church today. I might want to just keep that. So there's my monthly setup, you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on the planner. It's not, you know, doesn't take up too much space. And I still have my old months in here, and months that I made up for from my happy planner, but obviously I'm not using it because my planner is just it's keeping it all together for me, and that's really what I make them for and what I want them to do. I don't want to have to go to all these different locations just to like fill in a blank. So that's what it looks like, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. How's your planning going? Yeah. And visit the shop if you are interested in anything else I have out there. Sorry this isn't available out just yet, you guys. Just still working on some things. And I'm so grateful for those of you that are wanting it and waiting for it. I appreciate that so much. But for now, I'm just gonna give me another month or so, or a couple weeks maybe, and you know, I'll try to get to that. I'm gonna add stuff to my planner to-dos because that is something I do want to get out to you guys soon. I just really wanted it to go together and just work together nicely. So all right, you guys, have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day, and I'll see you for the next one. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button for me. That helps me out, but also lets me know if you liked these kind of videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.